Welcome to Fit and Bold, where we promote healthy lifestyles. I'm your host, Lakita Goins. We have talked about ADD on this show before and ADHD, but today we're going to revisit the topics and talk about the medications that are used to treat these disorders. So we have with us today Dr. Rhonda Maddox from United Family Services. How are you today?
I'm well. Thank you for having me again.
Okay, and let's jump right into it. What is ADHD?
It's attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and there are a couple of pieces to it. The first piece is attention disorder, the attention piece, which is you have difficulty paying attention, concentrating. The kids may be impulsive, kind of do things without thinking about it. They're hyper. They have difficulty kind of sitting in situations that require sustained sitting or sustained attention.
Right.
So they may be found butting into conversations, being a little intrusive. You'll see them fidgeting. You'll see the legs moving. You know. And while you're talking to them, they've gone on to the next topic. They're not always just sitting and paying attention.
Right. And how is it diagnosed?
Well, there is a diagnostic statistic manual, DSM-5, and it has a list of criteria for us to look at. There are also different self-reporting questionnaires. Sometimes we'll use a form called SNAP that we'll send to the teachers to complete, that we'll send to the parents to complete. We'll use Vanderbilt rating scale for different ones to complete. And so what we do when we're diagnosing it is we look at how the child is behaving in multiple scenarios.
Okay.
So for instance, you'll have some teachers who will tell you that the child is doing great at school, but the parents are saying they're really bouncing. And so managing expectations, but it has to be in multiple environments that this is happening, because sometimes parents think their children are just going to sit still for a long time,
right.
and that's not going to happen.
Right.
But teachers are aware of, this is age-appropriate behavior. So you're really judging the child by what's appropriate for that age.
Okay, it sounds great. So what types of medication are used to treat the children that they say, yes, they do have ADHD?
Okay, so there are stimulants, and that's like your Concerta, your Ritalin, your Daytrana patch, your methylphenidate, those kinds of medicines. Then there are agents like clonidine or guanfacine that act on different receptors, and then there's Strattera. And so all of those medicines can be used to treat ADHD, and depending on the kinds of symptoms would kind of decide which agent you use first. But before you jump into kind of the medication piece, many times it depends on how extensive the symptoms are before you go there, and it depends on the child's age and what they are actually doing.
Okay, so is there one medication that's more common than others? Or?
Well, the medicines that are more frequently prescribed are the stimulants, and the reason for that is because they work more rapidly. And so, for instance, if you give a short-acting stimulant, it works, within an hour. You give a long-acting stimulant, but those kind of work, they work immediately, and you can see some pretty rapid results. When you use medicines like Strattera, it takes a while to get into their system. Wellbutrin, sometimes it takes a little bit longer to get into their system. And so, many times when the parents bring the children to the primary care doctor or the psychiatrist, they want them fixed yesteryear, not even yesterday. And so it's like, yes, we can try some different behavioral modification strategies, but no, doc, I'm tired of getting called from work. I'm tired of, their grandparents won't keep them because they're bouncing off the walls. I need some immediate relief.
Okay, so now I know a lot of parents may want immediate relief, but our parents, a lot of them probably worry about side effects.
Absolutely.
Because we hear about these continuously. So talk to us about the side effects of these different medications that are used to treat ADHD.
I would start out by saying what you want to do when you're starting a medication is to start with the lowest dose possible. And generally speaking, I like to have the parents start on the weekends or something so that they're home and they can kind of keep an eye on the kid. And so start with a low dose, and the low dose is not so that you can see, oh, this medicine is working, but it's so that you can make sure they don't have side effects.
Right.
Because if they do have side effects, even at that low dose, okay, this is not going to work. But the kinds of side effects that you'll see is sometimes I will hear parents say that, oh, they've lost their appetite with the stimulant. And so one of the things that I will encourage them to do is feed them first thing in the morning when they get up. then give them the medicine. Because if if they take the medicine really quickly and then they do lose their appetite, and I might add, I would think that was a great effect, not a side effect, right?
But for kids,
right?
It's bad, right?
And so, you feed them first, give them the medicine. If they're on a short-acting stimulant by noon or so, have them eat again, then take the medicine, so that way they kind of maintain their appetite.
Right.
When it's a short-acting stimulant, by the end of the day, the parent is like, oh, this medicine isn't working. But the teachers are saying, oh, no, this medicine is working.
Right.
And so it will, if it's short-acting, it'll be out of their system by the time they get home. So they're kind of the normal self. One of the complaints that I'll hear parents say sometimes is, oh my gosh, my kid looks like a zombie. Starting at a low dose and working your way up gradually is how to prevent the zombie look that sometimes happens. But the issue is, if you want immediate results, sometimes the doctors will just go there.
Right.
But if you really want to kind of gradually work your way up so that you can avoid the side effects, you can do that.
Right.
Another side effect that I sometimes hear about is I can't sleep, particularly in the extended release versions like Concerta or Vyvanse or Adderall XR. You will hear complaints about it impacting their sleep. And so what I will do sometimes is use a lower dose of extended release, and maybe, or I will go to just the immediate release so that it can be out of their system. What you don't want to do, if you can avoid it, is to have a sleeping medicine added like clonidine or trazodone to help with sleep, so that it treats a side effect. As much as you can, you want to have a medicine that doesn't cause a side effect. Right. Now you may, it may get to the point to where that's not an option, but you want to kind of exhaust your other options before.
Right. Okay. So what are some strategies outside of medicines that parents can try? Because you said you don't want to jump straight to the medicine if you can help it. What are some of those strategies?
Well, one of the things that I like to do is, number one, make sure that they're getting a lot of exercise. A lot of our kids are sitting around watching TV and that kind of stuff.
Exercise is great. It wears them out.
Absolutely. It wears them out, and so you want them to be involved in, tennis or football. Taekwondo, different things that require hand-eye coordination. Studies have shown that they are effective. There are some studies out there that show that some food coloring, some types of food
I've heard
can actually contribute to more hyperactivity and attention problems. And so I did not believe that. I really, really didn't believe it until I saw it with my own eyes. In my daughter, and then I started to share the strategies with parents after I kind of researched it. And so with my daughter, I cannot give her red dye, I cannot give her blue dye. I mean, she's off the chain. And even when her dad tries to sneak her some Skittles or something, I know immediately that something has happened. Where did my sweetie pie go? Diets that can be helpful are kind of your high protein diets, like just what you would think of when perhaps the person who's 40 or 50 years old, what their parents are feeding them. So high protein diet, like beans and meats and and the select carbs that's not really processed, like your greens, your vegetables, that kind of stuff. What you don't want to do is give them what we do so frequently, which is your Pop-Tarts and your sweet cereal and that kind of stuff. That is not a great diet for the child who's already struggling with that. So eggs and bacon for breakfast, or kind of higher protein diets in the morning, can be really helpful.
That's great information. So what other resources, if parents need to know more about ADHD, where can they find their information?
Well, there is an organization called CHADD, C-H-A-D-D, and I forget what that stands for, but you can go to chadd.org, and they have a lot of strategies for like how to help your child do their homework, how to parent, different things. I mean, I remember reading some of those strategies and sharing it, and I had a parent who literally, when she came back, was in tears because some of the resources that she got helped her to see, number one, how she was really kind of affecting her child's self-esteem, because the person with ADHD who, they're so often compared to other people who don't have it, and it's like, you're lazy, you're impulsive, you're bad, and so they continuously hear the message of you're bad, you're not good enough. And so as she started to read those resources, she realized how she had potentially damage her child's self-esteem. But she also learns strategies for the night before what to do with a child with ADHD. So you want, if you can, on Saturday, have all of their clothes lined out. I mean, the socks, the underwear, the shirts, the shoes, everything lined up. You want to have a routine for, you know, we're going to sign everything the night before. What you don't want is the morning of to be so frustrated that you're yelling and screaming right before you go out the house. You know, you have to own it. And for the record,
most children do better with organization,
absolutely,
period.
Absolutely.
But thank you so much for coming on and helping us to better understand the medications, because I know so many parents are concerned about that, and it is something they need to know.
Absolutely.
So I'm sure we'll be seeing you again soon.
Thank you for having me.
Audience, when we come back, we're going to be doing our healthy recipe. So please stay there and don't leave.
I chose UAPB because of their master's and PhD offerings in the Aquaculture and Fisheries Department. Applying what we've learned in the classroom to real-world problems in the field has been most beneficial in the classroom. It's that real-world experience that makes the difference. The entire Aquaculture and Fisheries Department act as mentors here on campus. I feel that it's their goal to help me succeed. While attending another university, I had the opportunity to intern at UAPB in the Lonoke County Fish Diagnostics Lab. The exposures and experiences in that internship led me to transfer to University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. Upon graduation with my undergraduate's degree in aquaculture and fisheries, I intend to seek a master's degree here at the university. My experience at the university has been a good one. I consider it an honor to be part of a well-established aquaculture and fisheries program that receives national recognition. UAPB is preparing me.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your closet. Still no jobs, just more stuff? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed. And they're the stuff inside your stuff. Our job is to unlock those jobs. And it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Welcome back to Fit and Bold. Today we've been talking about the medications associated with ADHD. So today's Fit and Bold healthy recipe pick is spaghetti squash. So what is a spaghetti squash? This is what it looks like, and this is really all you need for this portion of today's recipe. What I'm going to do is take you so far with it, and after that you can use it to make actual spaghetti or other pastas, or it can be many different ways to use spaghetti squash. But it's a great substitute instead of having an actual pasta because it is a vegetable and it is loaded with vitamin C and it has lots of fiber, and fiber is always heart healthy because it reduces the risk of cardiovascular disease. So what you want to do is wash your squash off, which this one has been already, and then what it would look like is a full oval. This one's already cut in half. But what you would do after you wash it, and there's a couple different ways to cook it, but if you want to do it fast, I just use the microwave. But I'm just going to use this knife to pierce the shell. And they are a little tough to cut, but not bad. If you have a sharp knife, you can kind of work your way through. And so I started at one end, and I'm going to turn it and flip to cut through this other side. Okay? And so what I'm going to do now is pull it apart. Now spaghetti squash can be deceptive in that when you open it up, it kind of looks like a pumpkin. So what you want to do is pull these seeds out, and this stringiness too. It's just like a pumpkin. And by the way, some people do eat spaghetti squash seeds just like people eat pumpkin seeds. You can kind of see they have large seeds in them. So people eat those and they are healthy. They have vitamin A, vitamin C, and vitamin K. So once you get the seeds out, you'll start to see it look smooth. You can even take your knife and kind of scrape down to get that stuff out, and that's the quick way to do it. And when you cut it, you really just want to cut it into a whole half. You can cut it like this, but you'll get longer noodles. And it's funny because you can't really see the noodles right here, but you'll get longer noodles if you just cut the whole thing into one half. But I'm just going to take the time and go ahead and get this out because, ladies and gentlemen, I will be eating this later for dinner. So I might as well get my prep done. But as you can see, it looks really smooth now. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to move this out of the way and show you part 2. Now you can decide how you want to cook it from this point. I chose to cook it in the microwave, so I got me a microwave friendly bowl, and I put water, I put my squash in, and I put water in it until it covered my squash. From that point on, I just popped it in the microwave and cooked it for, I started with 15 minutes. And at most it takes 20, but usually 15 was sufficient for this piece. Now another way to cook it is you can take a metal pan or a tin pan, you can fill it with water, you can put both halves side by side, and you can sprinkle whatever seasoning you want in it if you want to at that time, and you can put it in the oven at 350 degrees. Now it will take longer to cook that way, but this is what we're gonna do. At this point, this is after it's cooked, and you'll be able to tell because if you can see here, it's kind of soft. Now you saw it took me some effort, but you can see my finger is denting the shell right here. So be very careful. When it comes out of the water, it's extremely hot, and mine is hot, by the way, but I want you to see, you can take a fork and just peel. But if you can kind of see the noodles coming out now, and you see how easy that comes out, and you can tell when that shell is soft. And when I finish, I'm going to show you exactly how these noodles look. But an important thing to remember is the noodles don't run vertical, it runs horizontal. So that's why I say cut it in half, you'll have longer noodles. So I'm just going to take my time and keep scraping. And remember, I know a lot of people say if you're going to eat pasta, eat wheat pasta, which is better. But if you want to eat pasta, why not eat a vegetable that looks and tastes like a pasta? And I got a big chunk out of here now. And if you can see, my shell is getting empty. And you see how much I got out of just one half, and I'm not even done scraping it. Okay, and so that's pretty good for now. So I'm just going to set that away. And I got a big chunk of pasta or spaghetti squash out of that one half. So I'm going to hold up some, just so you can see the stringiness of it. It looks just like a thin spaghetti noodle, but it's loaded with nutrients. And so this is hot. So at this point, you can do whatever you want with it. If you have a spaghetti sauce, you can load your tomatoes and other healthy vegetables and make it into a spaghetti. Or if you like seafood, throw your shrimp or scallops in, and you can make it with the olive oil. You can cook it just like you would a pasta from that point on. But it is done and ready to eat. And don't forget to always consult with your physician or nutritionist when you start on a new diet. So here we go, and I'm just gonna get a noodle or two and taste it for you so you can see that it's edible. Very good. The spaghetti squash, it has a great vegetable flavor, but it's a neutral flavor so that it can be worked into other dishes. So remember to try new things. If you haven't grabbed the spaghetti squash, they're out in the summer and the winter, so you can eat them year round. They're very dependable. When we return, we're going to be doing our Fit and Bold exercise. Stay tuned.
Oh! Checking your fantasy league?
Nah, just my 401k statement.
Nice. Where'd you find the money for that?
I just been saving a little every month.
I can't seem to save anything.
Well, what about all this? What about the money you're spending?
What money? It's gone before I can get my hands on it.
I got a pizza for a Todd.
Hey, can somebody spot me?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
It's 547.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
How did UAPB prepare me? The Business Marketing Program. Here at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, the faculty works very close with us, making sure we reach our full potential. With the help of Career Services, I was able to obtain an internship with Hope Federal Credit Union. This opportunity allowed me to travel to different states and learn additional skills. The company was so impressed at how talented and prepared I was as an intern that they offered me a full-time position as program officer. That's how UAPB prepared me.
When you're out there, there's no telling what you'll find.
I see it! I see it! Oh, look at you.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
What's up? This is Swiss Beats. Do you know that 1,000 people ages 13 to 24 are infected with HIV every month in the U.S.? As African Americans, HIV hits us harder than any other racial group. We account for over 44% of all new HIV infections in the U.S. You can't tell by looking at somebody if they're infected. Do you know your status? Visit Act Against AIDS to find out where you can get tested for free.
Welcome back to Fit and Bold. I'm here today at Anderson's Taekwondo in the Pines Mall right here in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, and they are wrapping up the Camp Positive 2 that they had this year. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself and tell us about the camp.
Hi, my name is Freddie Wright, here with the Anderson's Taekwondo Center here. We're at the tail end of our summer camp program where we focused on reading, writing, our math. We worked on a little basic Spanish, as well as working out. We worked out, that's our key, our bottom line, and worked on our discipline as well. So unlike a lot of other summer camps, we tried to further the child while they were on their summer break. So.
Okay, so you're keeping their minds sharp and their bodies.
Absolutely,
okay.
Mind and body.
So tell us a little bit about what we're going to see here today.
What we're going to see here today is a little bit of, like I said again, a little bit of what we did for our summer camp program. One of the things I failed to mention, we incorporated meditation this year. We believe that with today's society and what's going on in the world and how children are in the streets, that meditation is the key to keeping people calm and keeping their minds focused on something other than the melee that's going on in the streets. So you'll see a little bit of that today, as well as our forms, our traditional forms, what we do here at Anderson's Taekwondo.
Okay, well, audience, round your children up and let's get ready to exercise.
Cheer!
Okay, those children had a very great workout. This was a great focused summer program, and I want to say a special thanks to Anderson's Taekwondo here in Pine Bluff for participating again in Fit and Bold. If you would like to exercise, you can call 870-575-8000, and that is UAPB's Black and Gold Fit and Bold program, where we have water aerobics, line dancing, and we have Zumba and other classes. You can contact Miss Cynthia Anderson at that number and you inquire about getting healthy, and she will help you out. So if you have any questions, concerns, if you would like to appear on the show, just email fitandbold@uapb.edu. Remember, getting healthy is a lifestyle journey. Get fit and be bold.